Good evening. Approximately 5:40, fire department received a call for a building collapse. We came on scene of building being demolished and found that there had been a partial collapse. We found one victim at the bottom of the collapse. He was pronounced by Boston EMS paramedics, and right now we're in recovery mode, waiting on engineers to come in and make sure that the scene is safe before we remove the victim.
And that victim did lose their life?
Yes, we have one victim.
Do we know what the cause of the collapse was?
No, it's still an ongoing investigation. We'll have engineers in here to check witnesses, and it'll take a little while to put that all together.
And the person who died, were they a construction worker or were they a pedestrian passing through?
They're one of the workers.
The number of workers there, how many?
Everybody else is accounted for, so there was one victim on scene.
And this is all part of a larger project here, the demolition of this?
Yes, the demolition of the garage, the Haymarket garage.
Can you tell us where exactly the collapse happened? Because from this vantage point, it's difficult to tell, but exactly where it happened?
If you see behind me the section of flooring that's sticking out, it's closer to us.
We don't know how it happened yet.
It's under investigation.
Do we know what involvement the crane had?
The crane it's under investigation, so until we put all the pieces together, we won't know.
Is the crane stable?
I don't believe the crane had anything to do with it at this point.
And the man that has lost his life, was he inside a piece of machinery or a crane? Do we know that?
We believe he was in a piece of equipment.
And he was on the 9th floor?
I'm not sure what number floor it was.
No other injuries?
Substantial fall. No other injuries. No other. Everybody's accounted for.
So was he, I'm sorry, did he fall as well, or was he down below and something fell on top of him?
He fell in the machine. With the machine.
Fell from the 9th floor?
Yes.
What's the main line of work?
So I
with
won't have any more answers on exactly what happened until we get done with the investigation.
And in terms of the structure right now, is it stable?
It's a building being demolished, so those buildings are always dangerous, and that's why we have the whole area roped off, the T shut off below, and the on-ramp to 93 is closed at this time.
Can you just talk about the complexities of the size and scale of this scene?
The complexities
I mean, you're dealing with concrete, it's incredibly heavy.
Yeah, this is normal. They've been working on this project for quite a while, and any building being demolished is a very dangerous scene, probably more dangerous than when they're putting them up.
What safety risks, if any, are there with the building in its current condition?
We won't know that. At this time, we think it's stable, but we're waiting on a structural engineer to come in and give us definitive answer on that.
Mayor, can we just have a comment from you?
I'm gonna get
Thank you.
and then I'll go after.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Captain Kelly McCormick of the Boston Police. My first name is spelled Kelley. My last name is spelled McCormick. As the fire commissioners explained, we had a partial building collapse resulting in the fatality of a worker on site. Right now, we have a major area of this part of the city quarantined until such time as we can determine that this building is safe and that the tunnel tracks underneath us with the train is safe. We're currently working with OSHA and engineers to establish that so that we can open up. We'd request through the media that an advisory go out that there will be a serious traffic disruption within this neighborhood and underneath us with the trains for at least a couple hours while we know or determine that this area is now stable, that we can go back to our recovery mission, at which point we'll be able to start moving people and traffic and trains through this area.
When you say trains, is it just that, is it Haymarket Station, Government Center?
It's the orange line runs right underneath us, and that's impacted. It runs right underneath that site. So just for safety reasons, we want to make sure the tunnel underneath wasn't damaged from the weight of all the collapsing material. So MBTA is currently doing that evaluation with structural engineers, and our engineers will do the building to make sure the building is stable. At that time, once they give us the okay for that everything's stable, we'll be able to assist fire and handle recovery operations.
Were trains running this weekend during the demolition?
Trains have been running, yes.
On the orange line.
Yes. So also for my co-partner with the state police have responded down with their units to assist us. State police will be assisting around our area and down on the highway. So we also expect an impact on 93 north and south, as a lot of traffic is going to be backed up because we can't allow it to come up into this part of the city. So as part of that advisory with the state police, it's going to be a traffic issue at least for a little while.
I'm
Okay.
so sorry we just got here late. Can you just give the gist of what happened here real quick?
We had officers on scene that were working in detail. Immediately on a radar reported they had a partial building collapse and a crane collapse here on the site. As a result, we had a crane come down approximately 8 to 9 stories with a tremendous amount of debris up that the crane was dealing with. As a result, we have one individual who was deceased. Fire and EMS went in to rescue and determined the person was deceased. At this time, we are now keeping the area closed. We're checking stability of the building, stability of the train tunnels underneath us so that we can get things moving. Until then, we're going to keep this area restricted. It's going to have a huge impact on traffic flow, pedestrian flow, and train flow, at least for the next couple hours.
The next couple hours.
Yes.
And this was what, a parking garage?
Yes, it was a parking garage under demolition.
Under demolition, so nothing inside it.
No.
So to be clear, a crane was or was not involved?
A crane was involved. It was up on there, and the crane came down. It's not the large crane you see up there. That's a completely separate one. This is a smaller helper crane, worker crane.
And the worker was in there as
Yes.
well?
Yes, that's what it appears right now, but that's still clearly part of our investigation.
It was not this yellow one that we see here.
No, it's not. No, no. All right. I'd like to give it to the mayor, please.
And what was your name?
I'm Captain Kelly McCormick, the Boston Police.
WAQ, and we'll go next.
Good evening, everybody. Unfortunately, this evening, Boston EMS paramedic with Boston Fire made a quick assessment of the situation, and the patient determined that there wasn't going to be any possibility of a positive outcome. So, with the fire department, our paramedics moved back to a safer area, and we're all awaiting what inspectional services says in terms of the structural integrity of the building. There was a passerby that was transported, and essentially the passerby was physically uninjured as far as we could tell, but wanted transport to a hospital was provided. And right now we're just standing by to support fire and the recovery operation.
So people should stay clear of this just because of we don't know if this is still safe, this building.
Yes. Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm clear. So one person deceased here on the scene and one other person transported, correct?
Yes, a passerby.
Passerby
Not
transported.
nobody in the scene or anything of that nature. They were just passing by, witnessed it,
Okay.
and wanted to go to the hospital.
Okay, so we don't know exactly why they went to the hospital at this point.
Yeah, and unable to provide that any further. So, thanks everybody.
This is a horrible tragedy, and my heart goes out to the family and loved ones of the worker here tonight. I'm grateful to so many of the agencies who have responded right away. This is truly a multi-agency response across city, state, and federal entities, whether it is our public safety agencies you've heard from, or the MBTA who have trains running underneath, or the OSHA engineers and others who are here stabilizing the site and already getting to work with this investigation. It remains very much active, and the city will work to do whatever it takes so that we understand what happened here. And again, I'm just devastated by this tragedy and really thinking of all who have been impacted.
Mayor, how do you go forward from this? You know, this is something that's been going on for quite some time. This is, you know, a number of pedestrians are around here all the time. What are the next steps to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again?
This is a very complex site, and we know that the workers who take on the risks of this should never have to worry about, their families should never have to worry about whether they're going home at night and returning. And so as this investigation continues, the city will do whatever it takes to know what happened here. And in the meantime, we are very, very grateful for all of the responding agencies who acted right away to secure the area, make sure that no one else would be anywhere near what was happening here, and that any passersby and other folks are safe.
Mayor, we see obviously this area is shut down now. What is your message for people tomorrow and perhaps even into Monday who might be in the area?
The agencies are working very diligently to make sure that we can ensure that this site is safe and stable for what needs to happen with the rest of the night. I know we'll be working very quickly for everyone to make sure that as soon as possible transportation and traffic and everything can resume, but ask folks to please be patient as we are working quickly to stabilize this situation. We want to make sure that no one else will be at risk in doing the recovery operations or other checks that are needed.
Mayor, can you talk a little bit about the Bull French redevelopment crossing project here and why this parking garage was being deconstructed?
Yeah, there are plans here for a redevelopment, and they've been ongoing in the city for some time now. I know this is a complex project that will involve not just the building itself, but also because it sits over an MBTA, a functioning Orange Line system, that there's been very careful coordination between many agencies every single day.
This was supposed to be demolished? Is that what
Yes.
it was supposed to be?
Yep, it's been under active demolition for some time now.
And in part because occupancy can't take place in one Congress until this is destroyed?
I don't know the details on that, but I can make sure our team follows up with you on that. Okay, great. So I'll bring in the council president and then the district attorney.
Thank you. City Council President Ed Flynn. I represent this area in District 2. I just wanted to echo what the mayor said, is our thoughts and prayers are with the worker during this terrible time. Our prayers with him, his family, and I know our city will support that worker and their family, his family. So it's a difficult time, but this city sticks together, especially during difficult times. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. District Attorney Kevin Hayden here. I don't know if I have much more to add than you've already heard of facts here. Obviously, a very unfortunate circumstance, and we thank all of the partners and agencies responding here: OSHA, EMS, Boston Police Department, Boston Fire Department. Obviously, we have an active investigation going on in a very fluid situation, and our ultimate concern right now is for the young man who's no longer with us and his family, and for making sure that this area is safe and secure, particularly the MBTA underneath us. So that's it.
You refer to him as a young man. Do you have an age or age range?
I don't know how old he is now.
Can you tell us anything about the company?
I don't know that either. There's a lot. There's a number of subcontractors and companies probably involved here. So that's why OSHA is here.
OSHA now investigates. basically.
OSHA is investigating.
And you are also investigating too, or?
We let's put it this way: we don't have any reason to believe that there's any criminality involved here. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.